Hello and welcome to the Tough Girl Podcast, a 3-time award-winning show that aims to motivate and inspire you while increasing the amount of female role models in the media, especially in relation to adventure and physical challenges. I'm your host, Sarah Williams. If you're passionate about adventure, challenge and learning from women who have overcome obstacles and achieved remarkable things, then this is the podcast for you. Every Tuesday at 7 a.m, new episodes go live featuring incredible women who share their stories, insights and tips to help you achieve your dreams and goals. You can support the Tough Girl mission by signing up as a patron. Visit Patreon, patreon.com/Tough Girl Podcast. Keep listening until the very end as I share more information about what's going on with me with Tough Girl Challenges, give shout outs and recommend other Tough Girl Podcast episodes. More information can be found at toughgirlchallenges.com.
My name is Tsetsgee Damdin. Every Mongolian name has a specific meaning for it. So my name meaning is flowers. The intention is to whatever I touch, whatever I do, it will blossom and gives a lot of inspiration for the people. That's why my parents gave me this name. I have raised in a wonderful family. My father is an Olympic medalist in judo and sambo. In fact, he is the very first silver medalist from Olympic game 1980. My mother is a runner, so both of my parents are athletes. My father is never been at home. My mom's working and raising 3 kids at home, and my mom is a super inspirational woman who do everything on time and very responsible, and as well as follow her passion as well. That's why I'm understood you have to follow your passion and dream, and as well as you have to be very responsible whatever you need to do. So that is why I have grown up with this very beautiful family. And my father comes from very, very nomadic family from countryside. So every summer, my family and my 2 brothers all went back to the Hinti province, which is east side of Mongolia. It's a very beautiful country. And from June till September, we spent 3 months with my uncles at the countryside with my grandma. Now she's 96-year-old and still living happy with us. So they have taught me how to milk cow, how to herd goat and sheep, ride horse, and appreciate all the Mongolian culture. I have an opportunity to go to America, Chicago, Illinois for 2 years when I was in teenage time. So that's the time I have to level up my English. So which happened very fortunate for me to speak English very well and come back to Mongolia and doing some tourist guide for a while. And then I have studied 6 years in medical university as a traditional medicine or Oriental Medicine. After graduation, I have worked 1 year in a clinic, then went to Beijing for 2 years for more major study on my acupuncture. So when I was studying in China, I have learned Chinese language as well. So when I come back to Mongolia, I have worked in another clinic for a while. Then I decided to teach instead of practicing acupuncture. So I have taught acupuncture and massage and all this Oriental medicine treatment for the students for 5 years. Then COVID happened, so I better to do my own business instead of doing a teaching. That's what I've decided. So from 2018 till now, I have this partner, Chloe Phillips Harris, and Unumburun Yundumbat is another partner of mine, and 3 of us made this Big Blue Flower company and then running extreme adventure trips and expeditions to Mongolia. I have learned a lot from Unumburun about Mongolian history and culture, grown up with my grandma, and then I have heard beautiful stories and legends about us and about our history and our culture. That is the aim for us to, let's just bring this beautiful culture experience to foreign people as it is. So that is why we have made this beautiful trips all together. So when Chloe advertised it for the world, and then when the travelers and all the adventurers come to Mongolia, and then I want to give the 100% Mongolian nomadic experience as possible. So that is why I started with the clothing. So everybody has to wear Mongolian Del, which is like if you wear their clothes and then you feel like you're one of them. And then once you travel over here, you have to like eat and sleep and talk and just like live like them. So that is why we have to include animals. So our very first attempt is like, Chloe says like, okay, I want to do camel trip. And I said, well, you have to come the coldest time of the year. That's the most beautiful time of a camel. And she said, okay, why not? So, and you have to come in January. She said, yeah, that's fine. So, and the first trip was very kind of challenging for us. She has brought quite a few people. Most of them are her friends. And then that year was the coldest time of the year. We had almost minus 40, 42 degrees in the nighttime. Small animals were just frozen in the nighttime. And then we have prepared very well for the clothing and food and everything. Even though the climate was very harsh, we had this wonderful experience all together. And then travelers and adventurers were amazed by our camel and astonished by the Mongolian beautiful Gobi Desert. And then they're just amazed by how heartwarming, how caring the Mongolian people are. So, and then they were just amazed, even though they were just facing so many challenges in their like nomadic life, but they were just so okay with it. So even they were just proud of what they were doing, made them very, very inspiring and very passionate about traveling. So, and afterwards we have organized a reindeer trip, and reindeer trip is just such a different task because we have to travel all the way to the north, and then there's no vehicle can go. So everything has to be packed up in a horse, and then we need to travel like over almost 2 weeks, and then like meet up the real reindeer herders. And as well as we have to like migrate with them. And then during the migration, we almost like become reindeer herders. And then every nighttime we have a bonfire. And then they were telling us how difficult it is to live as a herder in wild in the forest. They have some wolf and bear attacks. And then sometimes they need to travel like days and days if someone got sick. So, and then it's just like so basic, but it's very challenging. And also it's very beautiful. At the same time, it's only you can experience it in Mongolia. You cannot experience it in any other country. Then we had this idea of, okay, why can't we combine everything? Like people can come to Mongolia once and then they can experience this desert culture by camel and then steppe culture by horse and the mountain culture by yak and then this forest and this rural area culture by reindeer. So that is why we come up with this like around 1 month expedition called Great Nomad Expedition.
I love hearing about these opportunities that you're providing for adventure tourists who want to come out and visit such an incredible country. And you mentioned about, some of the stories that maybe your grandma would share about Mongolian history and Mongolian culture. Do you have a favorite tale or a favorite story that really stands out for you?
Yes. Like you got to understand the Mongolian people are very spiritual people, or you might call them very shaman people. So everyone in Mongolia who lives in countryside and living as a nomad, they all become very spiritual because you have to tolerate, you have to accept this enormous power of nature, and we call them eternal blue sky energy or the power. We believe that we are come from eternal blue sky, and our ancestors will just keep an eye on us every day and night to keeping us safe, and then make sure we have everything to be happy over here. So that's why our grandma wakes up very early in the morning. I think she woke up at 4 a.m. and then she boils up tea, fresh milk tea, and then she offered first thing for the eternal blue sky. So it takes around 2 hours, her ritual. So, and then she has this like quite a big cup, and then we have the special spoon to sprinkle this milk for the offering to this sun, and then this mountains, and this masters of the river, and then masters of nature, and then eternal blue sky. So, and then I ask from my grandma all the time, why do you take so much time? And then, is it really work? Because I was very young. And then she always says like, we have this enormous power in us, and especially it stays in the middle of our chest. And then this is the place we can connect to our ancestors, which is the place we can connect to like this eternal blue sky. Everything you wish for comes back to you as long as you're very true and very like trustworthy for this power. So, and then my grandma becomes very old, and then she announces every single of their grandchildren and asks for that blessing for us. And then that is how we are becoming a very successful and then running good business and then having this healthy and beautiful family. And we all believe that it's blessing of our ancestors, and as well as the blessing of eternal blue sky, and then blessing of our grandma's ritual every morning. And once you travel to Mongolia, there's nothing is predictable over there. All of a sudden it rains, all of a sudden it storms, all of a sudden it hails. So, and then you feel such a tiny little human comparing to this enormous like eternal blue sky and this nature power. So in every herders will just all the time ask the blessing, and there's no ego at all. And then that is how we talk and how we treat our nature. So in every morning you go to like look for your golden sheep, and we ask, okay, eternal blue sky, bless my journey and please bring my family safe and sound. And then when I come back, and I hope you can take care of our family while I'm away. This is the attitude of us whenever we go for a journey, whenever we go somewhere far. So, and then everything has to be work, and we have to ask permission. We have to ask some blessing for this natural and this enormous power around us. So that is why we have to be super friendly, super eco with this mother nature. It's very forbidden to put single drop of milk into water. We believe that masters of the river get offended and you get something not good happen to you. And then it's a kind of ritual or some kind of a rule, but we still follow it very strictly. And then it's forbidden to put any kind of unsacred thing to the fire, because fire energy, fire is kind of something protects us, and then something actually energizes our food and drink. So it's very forbidden. Even we cannot say a bad word to the fire. So sometimes I can see my grandma's talking to the fire, and then I was just amazed. What are you talking about? And then you don't know there's a special energy, special, I don't know, some being is over there and protecting us. And then he can talk to us and protect us. And then sometimes he can even answer whatever I'm hesitated on. So, and then she talks with the fire, she talks with the moon, and she talks with the sun, even talks with the blessed mountains around. So, and then after that, I have truly believed every nature around us has a living energy, and then we have to treat them as like our family member. So, which inspired me to doing all these trips and expedition. And we always believe that eternal blue sky and our ancestors keep an eye on us and just guarding us every single minute.
I'd love to know, like, especially when you were younger, was there any challenges with regards to things like your traditions and your culture versus technology and new technology coming in? Like, when did you get exposed to social media and computers and things? Like, do you remember that there being any different pull for you of not knowing like of how to balance that between the two?
When I was young, it was not as horrible as now because we only have TV. So once we just go out from city, there's no TV at all. So like first week was kind of strange, but after a week we just forgot and really got into the like daily work. And nowadays we have this challenge, especially I'm seeing for my kids who is really like missing their phone and Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. For our age was okay. We don't have much of a difficulty. But like my grandma bedtime stories were just amazing. And then she got this many stories of like kings and queens and all sorts of warriors and even like flying horse and then talking goat and sheep, all sorts of beautiful stories. And then it's just like beautiful to hear them every night. And then every story has a meaning and they're full of nomadic culture and inspiration between it. And all the time it's about helping others. And then, and come back, you had this good luck and good life once you behave very nicely and then helping to others without any payback.
What was it like for you heading out to Chicago? Like how was that, that sort of 2 year time period, spending time in America? What was that like?
It was difficult. I was there around 2000, so going there around 2000 was kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. So basically what happens is kids go there and then finish high school and then they go to college and then almost never come back to Mongolia because it's opportunity for us. So somehow I got this opportunity. I spent around a year and a half and I have missed my home so much. I got homesick. I was just dreaming about this vast open space and just riding horse and this fresh air, which can just like blows my hair. And then everything is so peaceful and calm and everything is just seems like just stays without any kind of a time limit. I missed my home and countryside and come back to Mongolia. And everybody was so unhappy about it.
Why that you came back? They didn't want you to come back. They wanted you to carry on living in the States.
Yeah, because it's very hard to go there. And then, and money wise, like it's just very hard at that time. And especially I was a teenage and then I go to like student exchange program and then people said, how could you drop this opportunity and get back to Mongolia? And then I was just like, I couldn't just stay there. Just Mongolia was just calling me like every night. And then I'm just like, couldn't adapt to this busy lifestyle and people were just so selfish and like doesn't care about others and everybody's just like work, work, work and it doesn't have time for this family and this like human like touch, and then it's just so hard for me and that's why I came back.
What did you miss most while you were away?
I think the most biggest thing I have missed is this family oriented culture. Mongolia is so beautiful, especially in countryside. Even you're like stranger, you're just like one of their family member in the night. So even though they know you, they don't know you, they just treat you as like their kids or their the most like loving relative. And then they just like invite you at your home and then just offer you whatever they have. And then they just love to talk every night. We have super busy in the daytime. Someone's milking, someone's like, doing dairy products. Someone is looking for their goat and sheep. Someone's herding their like horses, someone milking their mare. It's just a full-time job. Once we just gather around in the nighttime, we just talk about everything. Like, oh, when I was just like milking this brown cow and then she tried to kick me. I was, oh, really? And then must be very offended by that thing. Oh, how was your day? And then we just talk about all night long what happened. And then we just talk about all this beautiful legend about fast horse, flying horse, and this like beautiful like masters and then river queens comes up from the river and then talk to the humans and go back to the water and then like moon lady, moon legend comes to this lake and then have bath and come back. Oh, it's so beautiful stories in the nighttime. We just like talk like from heart to heart and really care each other. That's the beauty thing about nomadic culture. We have lived very far away from each other, but humans and then family is the most important thing for this vast country. Every person, every baby, every kid is important and valuable for our life. So we believe that human comes from eternal blue sky to have this very strict and big project. Until they die, we have to like do this project, and then all the work we have to be done from our ancestors. So and we fully respect each other, even though the baby is too small. We even like call them very respectful. We don't know whose soul is inside of this baby, so that's why we have to respect it. So when we have this even saying that until 3, treat them as a king, and then until 5, guide them as a queen, until like 7 till teenage 13, like make them serve as a slave, and then once they're over 14, and then treat them as a friend. So and then until 3 to 5, we just almost like live like a king and queen. Everybody just like guide us, consult us, like kind of give us whatever we want. In that way, we got this cultural experience and how beautiful these Mongolian people are from very young. So it's very hard to separate it from it, actually.
Family is obviously very important, something that you talked about a lot. Is there pressure for women to get married and have children, or is it okay for women not to get married and to pursue a different way of life? What's that side of things like?
In Mongolia, the woman, especially girls, is the most precious thing because we are carrying all this goodness of our parents, especially father. So, and then our fathers, all the knowledge, wisdom comes to the girl. So that is why the girl or daughter is passing this wisdom and all this goodness to the son or the daughters afterwards. So that's why this herders, especially our Mongolian fathers, was really take care of our daughters and this precious the daughters the most, because they knew they don't live with their parents for a long time. One day they need to leave. So, and everybody loved till the day they leave their father's home. Even there, you can see that little daughters, we have this tail and the big, like, Mongolian traditional clothes, we have this big pocket, and then even their fathers put their daughters into the pocket and ride a horse around, and then really cherishing her and kissing her all the time. And we have this big ceremony called begging ceremony. So if whatever the man wants to marry with their daughter, and we have to like complete this begging ceremony. So, and then the father and all this uncle and like big line of people, and then lots of gift where it just comes with the horse and camel, and then visit to their daughter's home, and then asking the daughter's very beautiful word. For example, like, I have this hunter, and the person who wear this beautiful fur is in your home, or like there is a blacksmith who can make this beautiful ring is in my home. The person who wears it is in your home. Let's make these two couples together, make this eternal blue sky happy, and this masters of the rivers and the mountain to be happy. So, and then we have this beautiful poem and all this like ritual to say each other. Once they accept it, and we have this big party and big ceremony happens, and then we set the date, and then when the marriage day set, and then they come again with the lots of gift, and then bringing the girl to home. So once they like respect, even the husband side has to respect the daughter's even dog. They have to like feed the daughters like a daughter-in-law's dog very well, because we are almost like the daughter's family is giving the best of their family, and also the husband side has to be very cherished and very respected from a lifetime. So, and then all the like woman's side is very respectful to the husband side, and also husband side has to be very respectful to the daughter's side. So that's why this in Western world, like, this like woman power or anything, but in Mongolia, it doesn't work like that. We are just almost equally important for this life. And then we have to cherish each other just like two poles of this big wall. So, and then there's certain things man can't do. There's certain things woman can't do. So, and then they just complete this family life all together. once they have a kids, and then they just like work and wish all the best thing for their kids to continue to their like ancestors like journey or the history story into the next generation. So in countryside, in this nomadic life, the women are the most important. And even once you get pregnant, it's forbidden to not nice thing to the pregnant ladies. We believe that you offend two people instead of one person. It's a very bad karma. We believe in it. Also, we never show any cruel thing for the pregnant ladies, and then it's even forbidden to show any kind of blood thing for the ladies, pregnant ladies. And even we have to ask permission to pass front of the pregnant ladies. It's a very beautiful culture, I think, only exists in Mongolia.
You mentioned Chloe Philip Harris. So I was in New Zealand. So Chloe's been on the Tough Girl podcast before, an incredible horse rider, and actually met up with her when I was in New Zealand. And she was the one who gave me your details. How did you first connect with Chloe?
From 2012 till around 2018. I have worked in Mongol Derby with Unumburung. We call him a big man. And he was the main organizer for the Mongol Derby from 2008. I'm very lucky enough to be joined the Mongol Derby as a translator on one summer in 2012. She was a rider in 2013, so I got to know her a lot. So, and after that, 2014, 15, 16, she came as a crew member, and we have worked 2 times as a Mongol Derby crew member, and I was her translator. And then one year she came as a horse selection team leader, and we have spent around 3 weeks together to selecting all the horses for the Derby race. So, and then that's why we loved each other, and then we just really passionate about what we're doing. And then she's very passionate about how Mongolian deep culture we have brought to her. So that's how we met, and then we decided to this adventures for the other people.
What do you think shocks most tourists when they come and visit Mongolia?
Sometimes they don't have even common sense. They don't understand Mongolian horses are half wild, which means like we have around, some of them have 300 and 500 horses. So, and then we kind of break them once they're 2-year-old, and then we ride them, and then we set them free for a while, and then they have to protect themselves. They have to like survive on themselves. They have to like survive from the wolf and cold, wind, or like whatever like life put them through. And then they have to be half wild, and then somehow we need to like catch them again and then ride them. Sometimes they get a little fresh and like bitey and feisty, and then somehow they get a little bit calm after 2 or 3 days. So basically we almost like break our horses every 2 and 3 weeks. And then like Westerners, they think the Mongolian horse is like their horse, like almost like their pet. So Mongolian horse is not like a pet. They're like very like feisty and half wild animal, and they don't like some foreigners kiss them or pat them or whistle them, you know. It's just kind of very interesting for me to even how I explained they just couldn't like stop the habit.
What age did you start horse riding?
I started when I was 5, which is kind of late. Kids start riding them around the 3, because our grandparents are actually people who teach the kids to have to ride. So basically why we start this young, why this horse racing, Mongolian horse racing is such a unique race, and we raced around 50 to 60 kilometers altogether with the kids on. So which is like some of the 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, some of them even 4-year-old kids actually ride them as a jockey to race that half-wild horse. We believe that if you ride from young age, you don't have this instinct of falling and scared of falling when you were too young. So in that way, you kind of feel the vibration, you kind of feel this energy of your horse, and then become one, and then you become the best rider. Once you become a little bit old, you have this habit, or you have this like instinct of what if I fall, this risk management, everything starts building in your head. In that way, you never become one with your horse. So that is why we start from very young. So I remember riding my horse around 5 because that horse was very old and very calm one. And then kind of like talk and we kind of feel each other. And then even though before something bad's gonna happen, I can feel what my horse is scared of, what's his next action, and then kind of feels it together. So that is why I am very fortunate to start very young and with the help of my uncle and my grandma. Because of that, I'm very familiar with animal. And then even though I don't really ride like often as Chloe, but I still can ride it and feel whatever the animals is feeling and what's their aim and what's their intention are.
Tsetsgee, where can people connect with you? How can they find out more information about your incredible eco trips and the Big Blue Flower Travel Company? Where can they get in contact with you?
Great Nomad Expedition is our website, and also Big Blue Flower Facebook also works.
I would love you to have the final words of wisdom, final words of advice for women who would like to come traveling to Mongolia, who would like to come and experience the culture. Apart from just book it in, just do it. What advice would you like to share?
I would like to say day by day, year by year, this Western world and even like city life, you're just isolating yourself from far away from nature. We are actually come from nature. We are actually belong to this nature. In that way, if you go more far away from this nature, you would get more and more lost. And then you have this like boosting all the ego, and then you cannot like live with the people around you, and also distraction comes to you whenever you are distracted from this life, the life we should be facing, life should be experiencing, which is like you have to be very near to the nature. So once you come to Mongolia and then live in the people who have this beautiful connection with the nature. All the animals are not farmed. They actually kind of have the same vibe with the nature flow. And you will feel much more energy and also find your soul. Even your soul gets happy when you visit to Mongolia and experience this beautiness in your lifetime. Once your soul is happy, your ancestors, whatever your all the connection with the eternal blue sky and all this connection with your old like ancestors and for your generation, they get happy. In that way, you get so much blessing, so much of answer. What you're looking for comes to your mind just one night or 2 nights. In that way, you get, once you back to home, you have this full energy, full of wisdom, full of, happiness, full of answer what you're looking for, and carries it to your home and then spread it around all the loved ones. That's the only thing you can find it very easily from Mongolia. Travelers who comes to our country, expedition team members, and then first of all, they fall in love with our nature, how beautiful, exotic the nature is. And then afterwards, they fall in love with our animals, how tough they are, how heartwarming, how like loyal the animals are. And then third, they fell in love with this human and people, Mongolian people, how heartwarming people, how calm, how caring they are. The people absolutely how they should be. In that way, they were finding all the things they've been looking for all their life from one trip and one expedition. We are actually helping them finding themselves, the truth of themselves. And then in that way, through our help, they find who they truly are, and then they can be happily ever after once they get back to their home.
Thank you for sharing those beautiful words, and thank you for sharing more about your life in Mongolia and about the amazing expeditions that you run. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you, and best of luck with all your future expeditions.
Thank you.
Okay, tribe, I really hope you enjoyed the conversation with Tsetsgee. What an absolute inspiration. I just loved hearing about Mongolia and learning more about their history and their culture, and especially about all of their horses and their nomadic lifestyles. It sounds incredible. Please do go and check out all the social media links. Everything that we have talked about today will be available on the website at toughgirlchallenges.com. Now, one of the names that came up during the episode was with Chloe Phillips Harris. So we first spoke with Chloe on April 25th, 2017. And Chloe is a freelance adventure journalist who has shared more about her passion, which is riding, training, and competing with horses. She shares more about her teenage years when she would get naughty ponies and had to train them. She shares more about training wild horses, bonding with wild horses. And you can just really hear the passion when Chloe is talking about horses. And she also talks more about her work all over the world. She's worked in places like Egypt, Fiji, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. She's raced in the Mongol Derby, which is known obviously as the toughest horse race in the world. Absolutely incredible episode. I think you'll really enjoy listening to it if you've enjoyed this episode. So that's Chloe Phillips Harris, April 25th, 2017. Please do go and check it out. Thank you again for listening to the Tough Girl podcast. I would love for you to share the podcast with one friend. Tell one friend about the Tough Girl podcast. Share it on social media. Tag me, hashtag Tough Girl podcast. Tag me at Tough Girl Challenges. And then I'll be able to share it on my stories. I will always be banging the drum about the incredible women who come on the podcast to share more about their life and their stories. But it is so much more powerful when you, the listeners, share it and promote it. It just makes a bigger difference because everyone's going to expect me to tell them that it is amazing. And to be fair, it is amazing. These women are incredible. There's now over 700 episodes. That's 700 women sharing their stories, giving advice, providing top tips to motivate and inspire you. So I really hope it makes you think about what your next challenge is going to be, what your next adventure is going to be, wherever in the world that may be, whether it is close to home or super far away from home. As long as it's important to you, as long as it motivates you, as long as it inspires you, that is what it is about. I would love to be kept updated with what your future challenges are going to be. Please do send me an email, sarah@toughgirlchallenges.com. Thank you again for listening. If you'd like to support the work that I do to increase the amount of female role models in the media, then please do go and visit Patreon, patreon.com/Tough Girl Podcast. Thank you again for listening. And all that's left for me to say is, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, give it your all, give it 110%, get after it, go for it, believe in yourself because I believe in you. Take care, lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.